Good morning. This is VirtualPBX dash admin training. Going to give people a couple minutes to get in. Had a lot of signups today, so I want to make sure everyone has a chance to get logged in. If you're a vConsole customer, this training is actually not for you. We don't actually have live trainings for vConsole any longer. However, if you go under support and under vConsole support, you can find all of our guides as well as the advanced admin training, which was a recording of the live trainings we used to have for the vConsole. So that'll cover everything that would have been covered there. And then you have the individual write-ups for different features below. For Dash, you can always sign up for another training, but also the new user training here. This is also a recording of the Dash training that we're going through today. And also down below, you have the links to the various guides, the various features. All right, so to get logged in, you mouse over support and you click on PBX login. Scroll down a little bit. First, we have the Dash login, which is what we'll be using shortly. Down below that, we have the web phone login. This is a device for our Dash customers. It does count as a VoIP device. Basically makes use of your internet connection. And you use a desktop or laptop browser, Chrome or Firefox currently. We are working on Edge and Safari. And you log in with the same credentials that you would log into Dash, and you can make and receive calls. This will not work on a mobile version of those browsers. So I've tried on Chrome on my cell phone. Didn't work. Didn't expect it to, but I figured I should at least try. I don't know if that is going to happen because generally speaking, we already have a soft phone app for mobile devices, which is as functional, if not more so. And lastly, at the very bottom is the vConsole login for our vConsole customers. Oops, it was on the wrong. All right, so at the login page, it's going to ask you for your email address, your password, and your account name. This is normally your name. Okay, for using a test account. And here we are on the dashboard. So the dashboard basically showing you a snapshot of your system as it currently exists. Users, these are what I refer to as fully featured users. Basically, these are people who make and receive calls every day. They can have a variety of devices. But they can have a cell phone as a device, a landline, any kind of VoIP phone, and they make use of it. They also have a lot of user features. So they have things like call forwarding, hot desking. They can have their own music on hold, or when they put the customer on hold. There's a few other features that they can make use of. Below that, you have agents. Agents are specific to ACV queues. So these are people who are receiving calls typically. They can make calls, but the rule is pretty much they're like 95% of their day is receiving calls. They can only make use of a VoIP device, so a physical VoIP phone, a soft phone, or a web phone. And they basically have no user features, so nothing like call forwarding. Below that, you have your total devices, basically showing a breakdown of the devices you have on your system and broken down by type. Over to the right, you have your main numbers. So these are the numbers your customers are typically dialing to reach your system. They all have the same main greeting, and they all have the same initial routing. Below that, you have your fax box number. This is for your inbound faxing. And then you have your breakdowns of your numbers. Assigned numbers means these are numbers you are using in some fashion. They're going someplace. Spare numbers are numbers you have on your account and you're being billed for, but you're not currently using. They're not going anywhere. Basically, these are numbers you're holding for future growth or for a future, say, advertising campaign. And then you have the breakdown between local and toll-free. All right, sorry about that. And then down below that, you have your downloadable company directory. The account ID, you can use that to refer or for when you talk to us to let us know who you are. However, it's usually easier just to say your company name, at least over the phone. If you email us, then yeah, we can use that to look you up. The account realm, you use that for sending out a fax, an email to fax, as well as programming any third-party VoIP device. Up at the top here, caller ID. This is your company's default caller ID. You can select any of your main numbers. Caller ID name or company caller ID name. This is additional information that is sent out when you make a outbound call with a VoIP device. You're restricted to 15 characters, including spaces or special characters. There are a few caveats to keep in mind with the caller ID name. First, not every carrier supports caller ID name. So if a call happens to route through a carrier that doesn't support it, that information doesn't make it to the destination device. Right? So whoever you're calling isn't going to get the caller ID name. Even for carriers who do support it, if they're having an outage, obviously that's going to cause a problem with call routing, but it's definitely going to prevent the caller ID name going through. And the same can happen if they're just having a maintenance issue. Right? They're like, oh, we have to, take something out of commission for a little while, reboot something, whatever. That would also affect it. And then lastly, it depends on the device you're sending the information to, right? Some devices don't have the screen real estate to show the caller ID name, so it's not going to get through. Others, they may have your phone number already programmed and set with a label, right? And in that case, the device's information will override anything we send to the device. And then a special note for cell phones, most cell phone carriers, at least in North America, that I've encountered, they don't provide caller ID name for free. It's usually a monthly paid service. So something to keep in mind if you make test calls to a cell phone. And then the other thing is it takes about 3 business days for the CNAME information to get updated among the various servers. And these are servers hosted by several different carriers, so we don't actually control them. Right, down below that, you have the E911 address, or enhanced 911. And from a VoIP phone, you call 911. This is the default address that is sent out to emergency services. So you want to make this correct. Now, on each individual VoIP device, you can change the address. So, if you have people who work from home, they can put their home address versus the company address. And that's something you want to make sure is correct for the devices. Hold music. This is default hold music on the account. You can upload your own file by clicking there, find the file on your computer, and then click on this blue icon here. Dash accepts .wav, that's WAV, or .mp3 files. Well, right now it's restricted to about 1 megabyte, at least consistently uploaded. Our engineers are working to get that up. It should be around 5 is what Dash was originally doing. So there will be some sort of update at some point when they get that fixed. Now, hours actually takes you to additional configuration, but it's also under main number. So let's go over there. So here you have your main numbers. You can click on the gear icon, and so you can add the E911 and caller ID information. There's also an option for prepend. This is for calls going to VoIP phones. Since we control the traffic that goes to a VoIP device, we can add additional text in front of caller ID. Basically, this gives your staff an extra heads up about what the call might be about, or what the number is. That's useful, especially if you have phone numbers going like directly to a particular ring group. For example, you can add the prepend data so your staff member knows, oh, this is about the sales ring group, the tech support ring group, whatever. You can always add additional numbers. So add from spare numbers means just use one of the ones you already have on your account. By numbers is what the system uses to add numbers to the account. So if you're a new sign up and you don't have any phone numbers yet, you would use by numbers to add numbers to the account. You're not going to be charged for your initial phone number. In fact, depending on the plan you have, you won't be charged for the initial 2 or 3. Basically, if you're Dash Basic, I believe you get 1 phone number, and then the other plans all have 2 or 3. So just keeping that in mind. Now, you can do a search by area code. Some area codes are going to probably return something like this. Sorry, we don't have any. So area code 213 is the original Los Angeles area code. The original area codes were created in 1947. Most of them are exhausted, right? Just because of the massive amount of cell phone and mobile devices. However, in most major metropolitan areas, they have what's called an overlay. It's another area code that covers the same area. So you can then grab one of the numbers from there. And you click add, and you can add multiple. If you scroll down, it'll keep adding more. And you click on by numbers. This is the system verifying that the number really is available and able to be added to your system. And once it completes, can take a little while. Actually, I'm kind of surprised there we go. And so now I have that 323 number. All right, next we have your office hours strategy. By default, new accounts are on 24-hour open office. Basically, you're open all the time. Or custom office hours. Put a check mark in front of the day of the week. That means you're going to be open. And then in the boxes to the right, put your open hours in military or 24-hour time. Down below here, if your entire office is closed for lunch, you can put a check mark here. And then you set your lunch hours, again, in 24-hour time. And you click on Save Changes. Next up, you have office holidays. If you're closed for holidays, click check, and then add a holiday. So single day, just a date, single day. Date range is you want to do a few days. Now, the one caveat is you don't, if you notice, there's no option for entering a year. So you want to make sure that over New Year's, you do single day. So you're closed for New Year's Eve and for New Year's Day, do those 2 days individually. Basically, the system handles that poorly and basically puts you in closed mode. But beyond that, go with click Save Changes. Now that holiday is in place. All right, looks like no one is actually showing up. So we'll go ahead and end this broadcast.